So a lot of people are asking about the best teams for Nahida. As far as best goes, there's so many teams that you can run with her because she's such an enabling character. I'm gonna go over my favorites, not the best. So these are the ones I like using right now, not the number one or whatever. So if you're gonna be a Nahida enjoyer, these are other ideas you can use. Now for Nahida teams, there's going to be like multiple different variations of builds, but what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to be using one artifact set, and it's going to be the Deep Wood memory set, and I'm going to alternate between two different artifact pieces for different builds. One is going to be on entirely dendro percentage damage, and one is going to be on elemental damage. These are two goblets I'll be switching throughout the build, and I'll just tell you dendro or elemental throughout it. The headpieces here, you can see you're using elemental mastery versus using a crit damage headpiece with crit rate and elemental mastery. My plume flower and sands, plume and flower are going to stay on crit chance and crit damage because I have really high crit rolls to be able to use, and I also have a very strong elemental sands with lots of crit chance and crit damage. Obviously, if you don't have these, great. All right, I've been using the 1,000 Floating Dreams as well, but if you don't have this weapon, if I call out for an Elemental Mastery weapon, it's going to most likely be either the Wandering Evanstar as an option or using Sacrificial Fragments, Mappa Mare, or the 3-star weapon. I can't remember the name right now. If you're using a spread build and trying to boost out Nahida's damage, the Cogger's Verity is always an option on any of the fields what we're going to be using today. So all of those are possible on what you can use. Now the question we get asked about is, for a lot of people, is the Gilded Dream set good? The answer is yes, but because I'm going to be doing a lot of different builds for Nahida today, I'm not going to want to switch my build over to an entirely Gilded Dream set until the very end. So I'll do that one team with that at the very end, but probably not throughout the entire duration. Main reason being is using a Gilded Dream set on Nahida will probably be her overall best in slot set, but the problem is you need a dendro set on multiple different characters to even utilize that to maximize Nahida's damage, because you're going to have one character, no matter if they're a dendro character or not a dendro character, to trigger the elemental skill or elemental burst triggered to lower dendro resistance. And I'm not really wanting to switch a billion times for just a quick YouTube video for you guys, and I'm pretty sure you guys on the other side, because we don't have artifact sets yet, mijo. Still don't have artifact sets to transfer. Can we get quick swaps, please, between artifact sets? That'd be great, thanks. In order to change the artifact sets. So I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to do the same thing, so let's just stick with the basics. Okay, so for all the builds today, if there's going to be any build that you're going to see today for team compositions, I do want to mention this first because a lot of people have different experiences if they don't do this. It is very important if you're going to be leveling up any character that uses transformative reactions, which are reactions that are going to rely on this second line here. The first line being Melted Vaporize. The second line is going to rely on Overload, Superconduct, Electrocharge, Burning, Shatter, Swirl, Bloom, Hyperbloom, and Burgeon. The character that's creating the reaction on these compositions that rely on any of these reactions will have to be level 90, and if they are not, you're going to be losing about 33% damage if you're level 80 and almost double damage if you're at level 70. So you must have high level characters in order to make those types of teams work. And when it comes to spread and aggravate, you are going to lose somewhere between 15 to 30% damage depending on what level your characters are if they are not max level through spread and aggravate. Hey, the first Nahida team on the list is going to be my current favorite team to run. And this is going to involve Fischl, Tainari, as well as Kuki Shinobu. And no one has actually coined this team yet, so we'll call it, Spread Nari. Because, the whole point of the damage on this team is spread damage. So the character's composition for Tainari on here, he's going to be running a Wanderer Troop set. Fischl is going to be on a random set for damage. And we got Kuki Shinobu boosting with Millilith set. Weapon choices include, you can use the Key of Constitute if you want to get more boosting if you have it. If not, you can use an Elemental Mastery build on Kuki with the Zephos Moonlight to provide more energy recharge to the team. That's totally fine. For Fischl, the whale option or budget option is going to be the LG for the end, and the free-to-play option, well, you're probably going to be stuck with the stringless and not boosting the entire team. Both things are awesome. For Tainari, weapon access choice, of course, you have the signature, go for that. If not, then there are other options on this build. You can run any 5-star weapon except for the LG, obviously, because you're already using an official, and you can use any 5-star weapon, and it'll do pretty darn good damage on this team. The reason this team works is because of the passive ability for Tainari. This passive ability allows you to get Elemental Mastery transfers to percentage damage and allows your charge shots to hit really hard. So the whole point of this team is to provide a lot of Elemental Mastery to Tainari. And we're going to be running Nahida with a full Elemental Mastery build on this overall setup, and this is what the ratio is for the EM stuff. Now, for all the characters on this course, we are using a Constellation 6 on the Kuki. Does not require constellations. Fischl doesn't require any constellations either, and Tainari is going to be at Constellation 0, and of course Nahida at Constellation 0. So we're gonna wait for this guy to wake up, and when he wakes up, then we start it up. Damage goes out. Switch over to Fischl, then you switch to Tighnari, do his elemental skill into an elemental burst and animation cancel, and then we just use the charge shot 3 times, and usually the boss dies. If you need to finish it out more, you can use Fischl to finish it out, or use Kuki again. Okay, the damage is quite high in the team and does very well. It does well in AoE and single target, and we've tried it in Spiral Abyss, and overall seems good. The problems being on this team is AoE is definitely weaker in this team, but Fischl as well as Nahida can kind of make up for that, as well as Kuki Shinobu triggering lots of reactions. Okay, now we're just switching Nahida over to her Dendro percentage build. Stat line is going to be 622 EM with 48 172. I'm going to be using this with Sino. This is going to be this will work with any Electro DPS here. We're going to use it with Kuki Shinobu, and the last character being Kazuha. Kazuha right now has a Freedom Sword, you know, because he's Kazuha. You don't need Constellations for this. You don't need the Freedom Sword for this. Totally fine if you use Iron Sting or the Zephos Blade. Either one works. If you want to use Zephos or whatever. I'm still using Kiev Kazujut on my Kuki Shinobu here, and we're using Staff of Scarlet Sands. Now, this is with a C4 Sino. You can do this with C0. You can use with any Electro DPS. You can ride in Shogun. You can run this with Kaching. Literally any DPS will work here. Even Yaemiko, it actually does very well here. So this is my favorite aggravate team, and I'll run this with both Yaemiko and Sino. Wait for this dude to wake up a little bit.
I'll settle this.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and swirl immediately on Kazuha. We're gonna set over to the thing here. I'm gonna swirl for ultimate on Kazuha. Start up our damage, and we're gonna hit with Sino here. And this will allow Nahida to trigger aggravates spreads, as well as Sino's triggering aggravates, or any character will do the exact same. This will be the current strongest team for spread and aggravate simultaneously. And now we're going to be using Yaemiko, everyone's new favorite. I just noticed that Tighnari had Sino Sans, so I didn't actually record it with Sino Sans. Oh shit, Sino didn't have a Sans! Re-record? Nah, fam, good enough. What did Sino actually have on? Did Sino even have artifacts on? Sino had 2-piece Viridescent on that time. Damn, bro. Well, you get the gist. We'll do it with Yaemiko anyways, which everybody likes better. So we got 89 193 on Yaemiko with 402 Elemental Mastery. Let's go check it out. So Yaemiko team works fairly similarly. There's no issue with it.
Stand with me.
Start up the Nahida stuff here. Okay. For this team, we're just gonna go ahead and start up.
The Temple of Wisdom.
Do our damage boosting, and then switch over to Yaemiko while she does her thing. Keep resetting. The team composition is pretty solid. I do find it a little bit lackluster at times though, because for damage carry for C0, I find the Tighnari is a little bit stronger overall than Yaemiko. It's kind of a weird setup because she takes a lot more time to start her damage, and it's good, but it definitely has its quirks to it. So because you like her, it's a very strong Yaemiko team. It's just, you know, it has its quirks. You notice a really common theme here. A lot of the time, we're using Kuki Shinobu. Sorry, there's no one else. Except for, you know, EM Raiden. But no, it's not a healer. All right, we're gonna switch off that. All right, we're gonna switch in Kuki over to the 1k EM Kuki, just for fun. This is gonna be the 1k EM with Zephos Moonlight. That's before we pop everything else, and I'll show the stat window in a little bit for fun. And we're gonna stay on the damage build for Nahida. We're gonna be on a Sucrose with a Wandering Evenstar, most likely, and we're gonna be using Xingqiu with a normal build. You can use him on Emblem, 2-piece Glad, 2-piece Hydra, whatever you want. Now this team is basically for AoE, so let's go ahead and go to a domain. All right, here we go. Setting everything up here.
Let me weave you a verse.
We're gonna create seeds with Hydro. And we're gonna use Hyper Bloom reaction. Now the Hyper Bloom reactions are gonna be the green numbers that you just see on the field here. And this allows you to do lots of damage. And I don't even have to worry about driving on Nahida or Sucrose. I can just do whatever. And everything dies before I even pop a burst on Nahida. It's a really fast team. Now, to get more enemies on the screen, let's head over the Spiral Abyss to show this a little bit better, because it's a little bit harder to see on tall enemies. So first thing I'm going to do for Nahida here is do a 360 Phonoscope.
Sharing my knowledge.
Start setting it up, switch to Xingqiu Burst, drop a Sucrose, right?
Dissipate.
And do our Hyper Bloom stuff. Okay, and then we can pop our elemental skills in the middle while doing lots of reactions, and we're getting tons of Bloom reactions and Hyper Bloom reactions. Recasting our stuff. for Nahida. Do our 360 no scope. Okay. Then reset our Kuki Shinobu. Okay. Resetting the Sucrose, resetting everything, and you can just get lots and lots of electro charge damage, quicken reactions, aggravate reactions. Everything happens all at once. Kind of awesome. And you always have abilities up to keep autoing in the middle, which is really fun. So I very much like this team, and I think that Kuki is very strong for the Hydro Boom reaction here. Overall good. But Seka, I need a team without Kuki Shinobu because I didn't get her and I don't even have her at C0. Right. So the thing that with Kuki Shinobu is that she's going to provide a lot of value, and we're going to be able to use other teams with Nahida. The problem is, you know, they're a lot more basic and a lot less original because they're going to be falling back on old trends because they're basically the exact same teams you ran before. You're just swapping Anemo for Dendro. But there is one variant team that is cool, but it is definitely not fully free-to-play friendly. It's going to be a new Giga Zhang strat. So we're going to take the same artifacts we have in Kuki Shinobu and pop them over to Zhang Ling. So now we have a 1k EM Zhang Ling with Dragon's Bane, just for funsies. So this team is called Burgeon. It's an actual burgeoning. Well, but you know what we're actually using? It's Guo Burgeon. So for Guo Burgeon, you actually don't need Bennett with Zhang Ling finally. And the team composition actually does quite a bit of damage and does not require energy recharge on Zhang Ling because the character that matters the most is Guoba. Okay. So first, always start with your 360 no scope. Motion sickness players, please don't play Nahida.
Witness the power
Okay,
of Guoba.
set up our
Rain
bloom
out.
reactions,
Stand clear.
swirl them all together, drop the Guoba.
Absorption test.
Guo Burgeon.
Swirl.
There you go,
Mark
Guo
two.
Burgeon. Just creating lots of Burgeon reactions. Just over and over and over again. Good job, Guo Burgeon. All right, we've already killed everything in the floor, except for now we're in the second part of it. Great. Okay, drop the Guoba for the Guo Burgeon.
Let me weave you a verse.
Reset. More Burgeon reactions.
Rain
More
out.
Burgeon reactions. And block everything with the Zhang Ling ulti.
I should.
Okay. Now there is a major problem with this team. Major problem that I found is that you kill yourself with burning. Notice we're at range here on Burgeon, and we're dropping 35k on these guys. A little bit dangerous there on the damage, so just stay away from it. Okay, you gotta stay away from it. Okay, put out the fire. Put out the fire. Okay, very important to keep putting out the fire. Okay. Okay, and then just run away with the Zhang Ling here. Just as you can see, these guys hit very hard.
Stand clear. Swirl. Mark two. Everyone hold hands.
Okay, they hit very, very hard, so stay away from them. Their passive damage is just insane, so be very careful with this team. It does so much damage, you just want to stay away from everybody on this strat, okay? Very important, just run away. It's like drop the hammer and run away, okay? So it's like you drop a grenade and run every time, okay? Drop the grenade, which is the Guobanade, and run. Guobanade. So the less free-to-play version that's going to keep you alive a lot longer is going to involve Kokomi. She's way better here. You can always use Barbara too.
You're calling for me?
And now it's time
it's
for the
accounted
basic bitch bloom
move out.
team. All right, we ported all the arts over. We got a 1k EM traveler ready. We could do that on Nahida, but we're going to switch over to the EM stuff for Nahida. Okay, we got 1k EM on both of these legends, so we're good to go. We probably should put the Elemental Mastery set on the Nahida, but it's fine. All right, so obviously 360 no scope, set it up, Hydro, retap these guys, increase the bloom damage, and now full send it. Okay. Okay, I don't know where these guys are. So the bloom hits are for like 20,000 or so, give or take. Let's go reset the 360 no scope bloom hit. Okay, reset the Hydro application. Do our triple E cast to increase our Hydro application to get even more damage. Set up our Dendro Traveler. Okay, reset our Kokomi because everything died already. And of course, we are running an HP build on Nilo, Key of Cosmojuice. She's got like 70k HP with Hydro Resonance. Kokomi, Prototype Amber, really is. You don't even need Kokomi, you just need Hydro application plus Prototype Amber on any part of the team, totally fine. If you get high Elemental Mastery on Nahida, you could probably get away with a Prototype Amber on Nahida because she pops a burst so often, and that'd probably be okay for this overall setup. And you can use any Hydro applicator like, Ayato or whatever, just to like keep the healing up. The other thing I've noticed about Nahida is that she enables you to run multiple Hydro characters, and because we set with the Dendro set right now for Nahida, what we'll do is we're gonna run multiple Hydro characters on the Nahida team, and I'll give her the elemental mastery set. Sure, so you guys can see the elemental mastery boosting on her for the gilded. All right, now she's got her full elemental mastery set. She's gonna be at 1200 EM and gonna boost up even higher later. So well, we're gonna see some crazy elemental mastery on her later, and we'll run with another hydro character. I don't know, Galon. Okay, always start 360 no scope.
The Temple of Wisdom.
Okay, triple ECAS.
This dance is for you.
And now we just apply hydro in a bunch of different ways while running around like a chicken with their head cut off on
Quietly
Galon.
now. Things are about to get dicey.
Okay, you have C6 Galon, you could run this. C0 Galon, whatever, it doesn't actually matter.
Everyone who
360 no soap. Reset it. Okay, drop the heal on the character with the healing. Didn't need to switch to this. Reset our hydro application. More hydro applications, everything's dead. What's the team? Triple hydro. Yeah, triple hydro Nahida. It's exactly the same as double hydro Nahida. Everything dies immediately. Don't worry about it. All right, next up we have the Burning Melt comp. Okay, take your normal Ganyu. Okay, normal Ganyu. You can run Sucrose here for grouping, or Shenhe, or Zhongli for safety. Any character works here for this last slot. We're going to be using Nahida and Ganyu plus Benny Boy. 360 no scope.
The Temple of Wisdom.
Bringing him all over. Dropping a Sucrose early because, you know,
Everybody stand back.
maybe then they won't die so quick. Okay, I'm going to get one Pyro.
Born of ice and frost.
There you go. 138,000 on the hit there. 156 on that guy because I have constellations activated on Ganyu. Okay. All right, we're gonna swirl on that. Boom, drop the domain expansion. Okay, I'm gonna drop an ulti here just to keep stuff up. 163,000 on those guys. You're just gonna be normal charge shotting. There you go. So it's a pretty solid team. It does have a lot of setup, but it does well. Personally, for the Burning Melt Ganyu team, what I find is the better options instead of using a character like Sucrose or Kazuha in the team, Sucrose being the best overall option right now. What you can do is if you wanted to, don't have an Amos bow, but you end up randomly getting the Hunter's Path bow. If you have this weapon, it's better on this bow, on this build. It'll be the best in slot for the Melt Ganyu over Amos bow. But of course, you know, you can't have too much crit. I don't have the ratios to run that set. Zhongli will be probably my favorite overall option in that team because he keeps you alive, but you're running Zhongli and Bennett there, just like you always have been, so it's been a long time. And the other option is Shenhe. And I have noticed this. Shenhe, if you're using this as a single target, will provide the highest possible damage on this team composition. Sucrose being middle ground for AoE, and Zhongli being very good against heavy tank fights. So it allows you like 3 different variations for that setup. Okay, I'm gonna switch over to my free-to-play account real quick. Right, so on my fully free-to-play account, because I only wanted to use a C0 Ayato, I'm using Ayato with the, of course, new Echo set and Haran Gapatafutsu right now. He's gonna have 65 to 34, so not insane ratios, definitely okay. And I'm gonna be running this with a normal Constellation 0/2 Skuki, I guess though, with a Zephos Moonlight or Refined 1. And I'm gonna be running that with main girl Sucrose and Nahida. So this is gonna be the team, and it's Nahida right now because I don't have a lot of good stuff on this account for free to play. I have the Wandering Evanstar, and I got level 6 talents right now. Constellation 0, of course, it's free to play. I'm running the 4-piece Dendro set. So I'm gonna run this with a pseudo Hyper Bloom team that I started using, and this is actually a pretty fun team. Those of you out there that want to use Xingqiu on your Hu Tao teams and you don't want to get rid of the Xingqiu, Ayatos or Tartaglia here have a really good option to run as a primary in this team, and they work fairly well. But of course, it requires Kuki Shinobu, who's the most versatile character for all Dendro teams. Both of these will work just fine. All right, so the setup overall for this one is just basically using a blanket AoE for Ayato to get everything covered at Hydro in the field. We're using Sucrose to group all enemies together. Of course, using your 360 no scope on Nahida, but doing it second, and then using Hyper Bloom following that. Okay, then you can finish off after that with more auto attacks on Ayato for additional application. But of course, you have to use that when everything is hit with Nahida.
Sharing my knowledge.
Okay, and the team has actually sufficient energy recharge to use multiple different variations of what you can do, and you can trigger lots of hyper bloom reactions over a long period of time, but it doesn't have too many differences between the Xingqiu variant. The difference being, of course, you can auto attack on Hydro here to increase Hydro application for more blooms, and you get a lot more hyper blooms out there versus using Xingqiu, and it gives you a lot more freedom. So you can use that on either Ayato or Tartaglia for high Hydro application, but obviously you will have to trigger the Riptides on Tartaglia, and it's a little bit more problematic to get Riptide on everyone, so you'll have to like move that around a bit to get it work. But Xingqiu is the other option for free-to-play players who don't have a Hydro DPS. So Nahida is probably one of the most versatile characters in the entire game, and overall has a lot of different team composition variations. The number one teams that I really like with her are involving Spread and Aggravate. I'm not really a big fan of Burning and Bursion teams. They do have a lot more self-damage problems, and there's a lot of more issues when using those teams, but they are possible to be good. They're just more, you know, glass cannon. The Bloom teams are really strong, and the Hyper Bloom teams are also very strong. So just know that all the teams work on her. They're very strong, and she's as good as we thought. So very exceptional character. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you guys want to see future Nahida teams down below, and what you guys are using right now, and what you guys like with Nahida. Have a great day, guys.